What keeps you awake at night? The killers, the secrets, the moments horror fans can't forget. If you live for the scream, you belong at the Scream at Night podcast, your midnight home for everything horror. From Scream 96 to Scream 7 theories, Halloween, Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Saw, and the classics that built the genre. The Scream at Night podcast covers horror's past, present, and future. Hosted by Night of the Nightwatch Zone, each episode of the Scream at Night podcast delivers sharp debates, franchise breakdowns, character studies, and a fearless look into the darkest corners of horror. Listen now on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, Pandora, and wherever you get your podcast. Add the Scream at Night podcast to your podcast playlist right now, where horror never sleeps.
Hello?
Hello, Sidney.
What's going on, everybody? Here we are on a Saturday night for the Scream at Night podcast. And Julie, Sarah, we're here. We made it. We ducked all the spoilers. We've talked about this franchise and also this film several times with so many wonderful folks on panel with us, as well as the folks in the chat. Tonight's the night, ladies. Let's stretch it out and let's get ready. For you guys in the chat, thank you for being here. We appreciate all the support. You guys rock. A blanket hello to everyone. We're going to get to everyone as quick as we can. If you guys, and I'm just going to say this now in the beginning, because these streams usually run really rapid. If you guys have any questions or theories, put it in the chat. If you send a super chat, you will get to the front of the line. You guys know how that works. So now's the time to send them in, because we're going to start off with our opening thoughts, and then we're just going to hit the ground and run. Kelly's in the house. What's up, Kelly? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We got Val manning it. What's going on, Val? Thank you so much for being here, and so glad that you got to see Scream 7 today. Very, very cool stuff. And real quick, just to throw this out here, Oliver, what's up, buddy? Back with the channel membership. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Not only for helping to support us, but being positive and also reaching out to me, talking a little bit about, some of our thoughts. So we appreciate it. Julie, let's start with you. You saw Scream 7 twice, right?
I did. Mm-hmm.
What is your thoughts on it?
Very positive with about 10 asterisks. I really liked it overall. The ending was a letdown, unfortunately for me. And I think it's crazy the things I'm reading online.
There's a lot of stuff.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Overall, though, my top level thoughts, I liked it. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I liked it even more the second time.
Okay.
Might see it again before it leaves theaters. We'll see.
Okay. Alrighty.
Pleasantly surprised, but yeah, it's the ending, man. I don't know.
Okay.
It's happened to me twice in a row now.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. Okay. And Sarah and Julie, also your volume, it sounds a little echoey. I don't know if it's the microphone or whatever. It sounds different than usual.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
Let me,
Sarah, how about you? What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, similar to Julie, I had a lot of fun with this one. I gave it about a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
It's the ending, man. I know we're hearing a lot about people not liking the motive and the ending, and I'm kind of in that boat. But no, I had fun. I thought it was like a good course correction after 6. Wasn't a fan of the motive or the reveal, but I'm super excited for the future of the franchise. I had a good time with it. Definitely things I would change if I was in charge, but I don't think it deserves the absolute hate it's getting right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting because, and I was saying this backstage, but I had listened to, I had heard a few spoiler-free reviews, and then I listened to a couple of spoiler reviews, and one from a particular YouTuber that I listen to, pretty often, absolutely hates this film, called it one of the three worst films of all time, and I was just kind of like, what? It's a little crazy there. And of course, that's coming from someone like myself. I've watched a lot of old school slasher films, from the early 80s. I'm talking about movies that were, filmed on a camcorder that I could buy at Walmart. Okay. So I've seen some really bad movies, and I don't think Scream 7 is even close to that. But I do have some issues with it as well. Overall, I think they went into a direction that makes sense based upon where we were at after, we had some exits and so forth. So it was interesting. It was really interesting, and we'll get into some of the specifics of that as we continue to dive into the different topics of it, what we liked, what we didn't. Let's see, who else do we have in the chat here? We got Shantae in the house. What's up, Shantae? Good to see you. All right. We got Ben coming in with a super chat, starting us off. What's up, Ben? Good to have you here. Thank you so much. Stu lives on digitally. I love Scream 7's gory fun. My Bloody Valentine 81 callback, brilliant. The killer reveals will never beat Jill. So whatever. Scream 8, vigilante Ghostface. So that'd be interesting. I'll tell you this, and I'll throw this out there. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with Scream 8. I really thought that in this film we would get kind of a feel of that. I mean, obviously you still have Tatum and Sidney, and you still have folks that are alive, and obviously it'll probably have Tatum in the center of it. But yeah, that was an interesting way they ended this film. Really was. Julie, what do you think about the way that they ended it and what you might expect for Scream 8? Do you think that there'll be something that will be a through line from 7 to 8?
So the amount of times that we talked about a cliffhanger and a lead into 8,
Yeah.
we didn't get any of it. And I have
We
to
didn't get any.
say, big mistake for me, at least. Not everybody wanted it, but I feel like it's a huge misfire.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we got what we're used to, killers are dead. And it's a wrapped up, clean story. And that was a big bummer to me. Still looking forward to 8. I think they could learn a lot from their mistakes here, but there's also a lot of good. So I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. And again, I try to go in with low expectations and understanding that all the theories that we talk about, all the well wishes and thoughts and hopes and stuff like that, they usually don't come true. But I mean, supposedly for Scream 8, there's this really, really good idea that Kevin and Nev have been talking about. We'll see. We'll see if it has any connection to 7 at all. Sarah, what do you think about possibilities for Scream 8?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I am excited for the future of the franchise. I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing that we didn't get some kind of cliffhanger or something that's unresolved, because we've seen examples of planned trilogies that have gone completely off the rails. Like, think about what happened with Halloween Ends. Like, if they boxed themselves into like a trilogy and they didn't plan it out, it could have gone pretty bad. But now at least they have the option to do something really fresh and new next, or take the story wherever they want it to go. Or they could try to find a way to connect it back to 7 if they wanted to do that. Because there's a lot of 7 that we didn't get into like a great detail about. I find like the movie moved pretty quick. Like, so I hate using the word retcon, but like they could make some connections and make it make sense if they wanted to go back.
Yeah, that is possible. It did move very quick. I will say that I thought the pacing was good. Definitely Scream 6-esque. You know, it was kind of like moving pretty quick, which I didn't think was a bad thing because they were able to move quick but still focus on Sidney and focus on Tatum. So I didn't mind that at all. And we'll see what they connect, from this to 7, to 8. I don't know. That's something I'm really going to be thinking a lot about. I've been thinking a lot about this film and the ins and outs, trying to absorb it. I want to see it again because then I can really sit down with it. But there's a lot, man. Okay, real quick, let me just jump into the chat and then we'll get into like specific positives, specific negatives, and all of that. We got Ronan in the house. What is up, man? Good to see you. Hope you've been doing well. Saying I liked the movie. I called 2 of the killers, was very disappointed at the same time, though. Okay. And that sounds like I've heard that from a lot of people. They had some big disappointments in the film. So we'll see. Julie, let's get to specific stuff. Give me some of your positives about this film.
Sidney's life.
Yeah.
Sidney's family. The pacing I really liked. I think for me, it kind of stalled at the school play scene. I feel like that went on too long, and then overall it was kind of pointless. Although I will say what that led into was like one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
The whole sequence in the house. I thought it's probably my favorite sequence in the movie. The score was great. I've heard some people say they didn't really notice it, but I honestly noticed it in the opening. Yeah. Somebody did say that to me the other day, and I was like, really? I noticed it in the opening scene. I thought it was like, okay. Yeah. I'm trying to not let the negatives cloud me here, but I think we had some really strong characters. We had some really strong scenes. I think Kevin did a great job. I think he got some great performances out of his actors.
Yeah.
And if I sound a little depressed, it's because it is a little sad. Because we were hoping for the best, right?
Of course. Absolutely.
But I think, and of course, Matthew's performance, I loved. That was another big positive for me. It was a little jarring, I will say that, and I've said that to a couple of people. It was like, whoa, when he first came on.
Yeah, I know. Kind of like, hey,
I was like, oh my gosh, okay. They just really went for it. But I think that's where I'll cut it off there. Those are my thoughts. Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, how about you?
Yeah, so I have some bullet points here for my positives. I won't get into too much detail on everything, but just like some highlights were like Sidney, Gail's character story and their arc together. It was a mature storyline. I liked Chad, Mindy, and Mark a lot. There's a lot of like nostalgia baked in, obviously on purpose, but like, yeah, from the score and the opening scene to like the set pieces, right? We had Red Right Hand playing when they were going down Main Street for the curfew.
Yeah,
like
that was great.
It was just like nostalgic vibes. The music was good. It felt fresh and exciting. The opening sequence and kills was fun. Like I really liked that. Sidney letting her walls down with Tatum, and then of course seeing like some legacy characters again. I thought those were all some highlights.
Okay. Yeah. Well, for me, I think that one thing that stood out the most for me was Ghostface. I really enjoyed the attacks. I enjoyed the kills. I enjoyed the intensity of Ghostface all throughout the whole film. And I thought that was done in a way that I think it was modern, but we still had some callbacks because of all the other setups in structure and music and things like that. But the attack scenes, they were great, man. The scene in the house when he comes out of the attic, that was just great. And Julie, you called it, man. We had been ragging on Joel McHale so much. He was like, he was public enemy number 1 because, we're just thinking about Patrick Dempsey. But I got to admit, I enjoyed him. I'm still wondering how the hell he survived, but that's a whole nother story. I could put that on the gripes list.
I owe him a huge apology. I mean, I was talking to Sarah about this endlessly last night. I was like, I was the most negative person when he was announced. I was like, are you kidding? But he was my favorite new character.
he was good. I like the scenes with him and Sidney and Tatum. Obviously, Sidney was amazing in this film, and being a Sidney centric story, she needed to be. And I had said this could be Nev's best performance as the character, and I stand by that. I think it's a really really great performance. Once I see it again, maybe a couple more times, I'll be able to be more definitive. But it was a really great performance by her. They gave her a lot of stuff to work with, which was great to see. Tatum was good. I do think there were some times where, and it's not even really Isabel. I think Isabel was great, but I do think that there were some times where with her friends, I don't think they didn't have as much balance with the friends as I think I wanted, as I know that I wanted. And I think sometimes that took a little bit away from Tatum. But when Tatum was with her mom, all the interactions with her mom and obviously with Ghostface and stuff like that, it was some really, really good scenes and some great dialogue between a mother and a daughter. And those are the biggest things. It felt like a Scream movie. I loved the music. I think Kevin did really well with what he had. They obviously had to pivot. So those are some of the points that, for me anyway, stand out as the really good points of the film. When I left the theater, I was feeling good. I was like, all right, I saw it. We got through it without being spoiled. So that's kind of how I felt. Let's jump back to the chat too. I want to make sure that we get you guys here involved as well. We've got 17 Ninjas. What's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And Val, thank you so much for putting the link in the chat. If you're not following us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, this is the time to do it. Leave us a review. If you guys leave a review tonight on Apple Podcasts, we will make sure to highlight you and so forth. So thank you so much. Shantae is coming in with a super chat. Carl Allen Gibbs, my new cousin. We were in the theater screaming when they said his full name. My daughter said, "Not us being shouted out in the movie." There you go. Thank you.
Sorry about your cousin.
Right? Yeah. Isn't that something? Thank you so much.
He tried. He tried.
He did try. You got to give him credit. What's up, DJ? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We also got a channel member anniversary for Kelly coming in at 9 months hot. I'm upset by the line saying it's stupid to believe Stu's alive. It insults the fan base. I feel like they baited Stu fans to put butts in the seats. Well, let's talk about that, shall we? Okay, so let's get into gripes a little bit. Julie, we'll start with you. What do you think as far as Stu's involvement in the film? And do you agree with what Kelly's saying?
I do agree with what Kelly was saying. So I already said I was disappointed with the reveal, but I know not everybody felt this way, but it did feel like they were really, really rubbing some salt in the wound there. It did feel mean-spirited, I think. And I think the movie really would have benefited from they went so hard with the Stu stuff, and then it felt like to me, honestly, my first thought was, oh, they changed their minds. And I know it was rewritten, and I would love to see what happened there and how many times it was maybe changed, but it really felt like they were going hard with Stu, and then at the end they just changed it up, and then as a result it felt like, well, what was the point?
Right.
Really, I still don't know the point.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into a gripe because I haven't had a chance to do this
Please
yet.
do.
Not even in my spoiler-free review. To me, it almost was useless to have Stu used as the AI in this film, based upon the reveal we got, and specifically talking about Jessica. Because Jessica was infatuated with Sidney because of her book, which is Scream 4. Now, I gotta admit, I dug that quite a bit. I actually really was like, okay, that's cool. They found a different way to link her. It made sense. And her motive, her initial part of the motive I was good with, because she says, I gained strength from out of darkness. I was able to get out of my abusive relationship with my husband, and I was free. That right there alone, if it had kind of stopped there, that alone would have made her a very interesting Ghostface killer. Out of all of them, she
Yep.
would have been a Ghostface killer that you could actually have some sympathy with. I'm not saying, hey, if you're if you're being abused, kill your partner, and that's the answer. But I'm just saying she would have had some sympathy. But then going beyond that, and upset that Sidney wasn't there for 6. They kept referencing 6. It's like, guys, we know what happened in New York. And so, being upset about that and wanting to create a Sidney 2.0, I was like, no, you guys have lost me. And using Stu as a catalyst, it's like, bro, I mean, obviously we know why they used Stu. They used Stu for us, for the fan base. But again, just like Mindy in 6 on the subway, when she gets attacked and Ethan is standing there like, oh wow, let me help you, bro. That was for the viewers, not for the movie logic, right? I want movie logic to work as good as it can, right? So Jessica's motive, half of it I'm on board with, and the other half it just kind of falls apart, the motive / reveal. So anyways, that's my first gripe. Sarah, so let me get Sarah in here. She's probably ready. Sarah, what did you think about Stu's involvement, and like Kelly said, feeling like it's an insult to the fan base?
Yeah, so I am somewhere in the middle because I am more annoyed that we spent all of this time with like Stu in the movie and then it really built to nothing. Like
Right.
you and Julie both said, it's like it gets built up and then Jessica's motive has nothing to do with him. I think that was a huge missed opportunity. Whether he was alive or not alive, that doesn't matter to me as much. It's just there was no connection, and that was a big miss. I understand why people are upset about the comments. They didn't really bother me as much as it seems like it's bothering other people because they were taking jabs at everybody and everything.
Right. Yeah,
Like
they were trying to
like
be
you
meta
mentioned,
in
it's
that
like
sense.
they mentioned about the Stu thing. They mentioned multiple times. Gail said right out loud, New York was a shit show. They were talking about contracts being not renewed. Like they were jabbing at everything. So I didn't take the Stu comment personally, but like I'm sorry for the people that did. But yeah, I was more annoyed about how the motive built to nothing.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. When Jessica revealed herself, and I don't know about you, Julie, but I know me. I was sitting right beside Corey and I'm like, this is it. It could happen, maybe. I'm gonna be honest. Even up until that point, I still believed it could happen, but it had dwindled down quite a bit up to that point. I was still at maybe a 25%, just waiting to see if it was Matthew. But Sarah, let me ask you this: if when the Ghostface reveal, instead of Jessica, if it was Matthew, and then of course, they would have had whatever, for the last part of the film, would that have worked better for you?
Yeah, I think almost anything would have worked better than what we got. And it sucks because people are also like shitting on Marco. I didn't mind Marco. We always have a Ghostface that's kind of just along for the ride. Stu
Yeah.
was just along for the ride. Like Mickey
Yeah.
was just along for the ride to kill people. Like
That's true.
Charlie, Jill's love slave. Like we have
Yep.
a history of Ghostface just killing to do something. So I
Right.
was down for Marco just like having that kind of connection to Carl and like freaking people out about Stu.
Yeah.
But then it's like the only connective tissue to Jessica was like they met at Fallbrook. Like that's where it all fell apart for me. Jessica was the problem.
Yeah.
They could have done almost anything else.
Yeah, and it's too bad because I think Anna obviously is a talented actress. And when she was doing a little bit of the psycho stuff and all that, I was fine with it. She's good at doing that. So I didn't have an issue with that in and of itself, but it was the structure around it. You know what I mean? Where it just didn't hit. But I will say this, Julie, you'll love this. I will say this. I still enjoy that reveal better than Wayne Bailey. All right. I'm just saying.
Remember when I was telling you Thursday night, I was like, this is literally insane, but I feel nostalgic for Wayne right now. Like, what is happening? It's not good.
Oh my God. Of course it was me. He was a strong, virile young man. Get the
I owe him an apology now too.
Dude. All right.
Crazy.
So and not that we're ranking Ghostface killers tonight. We'll be doing that at some other time. So you guys in the chat, get ready for it. We're gonna do a lot more stuff with this. Let me ask you this right here, Julie. Like right now, which could change tomorrow, I'm sure. So is Wayne as a Ghostface? Well, actually, no. Let me back up. Are you saying Wayne's reveal you liked that better than Jessica's?
I think I liked, honestly, I would almost put 6's third act above this one. This one was like that much of, I'm serious. This one was that much of a letdown for me.
Ooh. Now, is it because it wasn't Stu, or just because of the fact that they had him the whole movie and didn't pull the trigger, or just the reveal itself?
It was because it felt like the reveal itself just negated everything we had seen for me. Okay. And I was just telling Sarah and Val this right before. I was like, if it was Leslie and not Jessica, just a name change, and a little background, it would have probably solved like all of my issues.
Another thing too, just to and this just came to my mind in a way that you just worded that. If she revealed herself as Leslie and everything happened the same way it did, we'd be having some fire conversations about what could happen in 8.
I would have a completely different attitude. I'm serious.
Right.
Like 180.
Right. Yeah. Because like, even if they didn't reveal Stu, obviously it's like, like that's Leslie. So you're right. Even just the name change. And again, for you guys in the chat, let us know what you think. We'll be getting to some more comments and questions. And I know for people that are not wanting to see Stu come back, they wouldn't agree with that, and that's fine. But I just feel like most everyone I've talked to had issues with that finale as far as the reveal and the motive. And I just feel personally, if Matthew had revealed himself under the mask, or at least if he was revealed as a Ghostface along with the two, I think it would have elevated it unbelievably.
Yeah.
Unbelievably, because now there's that question in your mind, okay, well, what's going to happen next? As it stands right now, both of them got killed. Yeah. And it's like, oh, boom, there we go. Which, again, and there's a lot of purists that that's what they want. They want it to be closed. And I understand that. But I don't know. I think they could have done some really cool things with that third act. I really, really do.
Yeah. And I would say I wouldn't even have a huge problem with the motive if the rest of the movie had been a different movie, like 3 people who just wanted to do this.
Yeah.
For their own reasons.
Right.
Unrelated to the past. That's fine.
Yeah.
But just don't do the rest of the movie in that way.
Yeah. Right. Well, Sarah, let me ask you this too, because that brings me to this. With the marketing, and marketing can be such a tricky thing, but we've seen this type of marketing before about how this is the one that's, this is going to be so different. It's never been like this before. And all movies do this. It's not just Scream, but the fact that it was heavily marketed, it all goes back to the past, we grew up in Woodsboro. Do you think the marketing in that sense kind of skewed people's opinion of this film? Or did it for you?
Yeah, I do feel a little misled with the marketing. Not as bad as some other movies, but yeah, they were really pushing the connection to the past.
Yeah.
And honestly, they could have fixed all of that by just tweaking 2 things. All they had to do was make Jessica Leslie and her trauma be about growing up in the shadow of these terrible things her brother did and how everybody treated her, and then also have her creepy son in on it, which would have justified the time they spent with the kids that went nowhere. That's all they had to do, and we would have been having a completely different conversation.
That's a good point.
And
I agree with
then
that.
retroactively, Vince would have been less insignificant.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So,
It's like, where's Leslie? You know what I mean? It's like she's just sitting at home chilling, eating, milk duds or whatever. It's like, wow, this is crazy.
yeah.
All right. Real quick too in the chat just to catch up. Hey, we got Gritter in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you back with us in the channel membership. We appreciate it, bro. Hope you've been doing well. Good to have you here tonight. We've got Super Tenor coming in hot. What's up, man? I enjoyed the movie. I'm a tad confused about the motive. Laugh out loud. Love you guys. Yeah, the motive definitely it tied to the past. It was just not the past we thought. It ties to Scream 4, which is fine. Hell, man, they should have just, I don't know, done something with Jill or something. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But they did it for us. They did it for us. John's in the house. What's up, John? Good to see you. Just got out of my third viewing, this time at the biggest theater in New York. First time there. Loved it again. My audience gave multiple applauses. Isabel was incredible. I'm praying for Scream 8 with this cast. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got to be Isabel and Nev. I'm sure Courtney will come back. The twins. Let's get to our other characters here, as a matter of fact. Let's talk about Courtney Cox as Gail. Julie, did she redeem herself from 6 and even 5 to a degree, in my opinion?
I think so. She scared me a little bit in the interview scene. She was
Yeah.
pushing and pushing and digging, and Sidney was like, stop,
Yeah.
I'm getting up, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But the scene where she came in with her car and just plowed into Carl, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I think she did redeem herself. It was nice to see. We got those serious conversations between her and Sidney that I kept mentioning. I really want them to just sit down and talk, and they did. They did that.
Yeah.
It was nice to see her have some lasting damage and repercussions from the previous movies when her hand was shaking and said, "Hey, what's that?" And she said nerve damage, and I was like, "Okay, finally, thank you."
Yeah, that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, it was.
I wish they went a little further with it, but it was nice to at least see that. It was different.
And then you see her taking the pills, and she's talks about what she goes through every day. So yeah, I liked what they did with her. She kind of disappeared, near the end.
I know.
But
That's what I was thinking. Is like I thought that pretty much what you said, and I was happy to see that. So it was definitely better than 6. And maybe either even with 5 or maybe even a little bit better than 5. But then she disappeared. Why? I mean, I know they're focusing on Sidney and Tatum. I get that. But Gail was just like out in Timbuktu. Sarah, did you feel that way about Gail, or what was your take?
So I really liked Gail in this. Like Julie had mentioned, the whole scene about like the interview and the aftermath. It's like Sidney finally saw her and realized that this isn't just her own trauma. Like Gail has been with her in the literal trenches since day one.
Right.
And they finally just like had that conversation. Like when Sidney finally was like, I don't just trust one person, like I trust you. And it's like,
Yep.
it kind of came full circle. And like, I think they needed that.
Mhm.
And I loved that.
Yeah, that was cool.
I liked seeing the more like mature storyline, right? They've been together for 30 years. They've gone through it together. I think it would have been a waste just to have like Gail there as like a surface level character. Chad and Mindy were more surface level. I really liked them in this. I'm not going to lie. I think they were sprinkled in like perfectly, but I think we did need to focus on Gail and Sidney to make the story make sense. Like this really was Sidney's story, but Gail's a huge part of her story. So I liked it. I think we needed it. I think it would have felt incomplete without her if she just showed up to do the reporter thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like she was still able to have a little bit of that old school Gail, getting the story. And now she's what do they call her? A crime journalist now or something like that? Crime reporter. It was cute. I'm fine with it. But she had a little bit of that, but definitely had the emotional dialogue. And like you said, kind of came to terms with like, bro, we're besties. That's the truth of it. We've been through this so many times over the years. So that was kind of cool. I think that like I said, I think they did a better job with her than they did in 6 and probably as in 5 too. So that's good news. Chad and Mindy, again, when you have so many characters, you only have a certain amount of time to tell this story. So I understand why they were kind of sidelined, so to speak, which in a way was too bad. But what they did have were, they were fun scenes. I think Mindy was handled a lot better in this than in 6.
Yeah.
And Chad was fine. He didn't really, the only thing about Chad, he didn't have anyone to really bounce off of like he did in 6, but we understand why. It was fine. They were fine. McKenna Grace, guys, let's get into McKenna Grace. We all had multiple ideas of what she was going to do, not going to do, what was going to happen. What'd you think of her character, Julie? I mean, at the end of the day, she wasn't in it very long per se, but
I honestly have like no thoughts on her besides she was cannon fodder and she went early. Her final moment was cool. Thought that was creative and that really sucked for her. But
the trailer blew it.
It did.
The trailer blew it.
That's the biggest thing on not the biggest thing, but that's on my list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad she wasn't a killer, but at the same time, kind of a waste.
Yeah.
Barely knew her, barely saw her, and she was out of there.
Yeah, that's so true, man. All right. Real quick too in the chat. Let's jump in. We got Gritter coming in. What's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. $20 super chat. Wow, thank you. Saying I'm back. Had to come back for this. I give this movie a 2. Woo. Sidney, Stu, and Joel McHale's character is why I give it a 2. Everything else was bad. Roman is still the best Ghostface ever. Ooh, wow, a 2, guys. Sarah, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on that? And what did we think of Roman and Dewey and Debbie Salt, Mrs. Loomis?
I think 2 is a little harsh. I'm not going to lie. I understand that people have a lot of problems with it, but I think when you get down into like 2 territory, that's like almost irredeemable. And I don't think this movie is irredeemable at all.
That's like Skinamarink territory.
Yeah.
Or in a violent nature.
I think anything below 3, like, you're just hating. But hey, if you really dislike the movie, I'm sorry. I never want anybody to dislike anything.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so Roman. I'm so torn because we had this conversation earlier with Julie and Val and I, but I do think the AI was cheesy, and I think it's going to kind of date the film. It may not work as well a few years down the line, but like, I'm not going to lie and say I wasn't excited to see their faces again.
Right. Yeah, there was definitely that moment. I was like, there he is. And seeing Mrs. Loomis, and it's so funny because I did a video. I mean, this was, I don't even know how many months ago, like a ton of months ago, way before the trailer and everything, because Laurie Metcalf had a really odd answer when they were talking about the upcoming Scream 7. And I said, she's going to be in it too. I just had a vibe. I had a feeling. And sure as shit, she was. I agree. I don't think it's going to age very well. I also think that if they were going to do that, which we had talked about the possibility, we all knew that it was probably going to be something like a quick little, hey, whatever. I don't know. I think maybe they could have sprinkled that in with Stu. Maybe, I don't know. It's just like when they get, this was at the end of the film when Sidney goes into the house and, she's kind of looking around and the TV turns on and it's kind of like, hey, I do think Scott's words, it cut deep. Like it was good for what it was, because it's like, yeah, that's your brother telling you the truth of it. But yeah, I don't think it's going to age very well. Julie, do you think it's going to age well, or what were your thoughts on Roman and Mrs. Loomis and poor Dewey? It's like, dude, yeah.
I honestly cringed into my seat. Like that was almost to the point of like unbearable for me. I really did not like it at all. And it was just, again, why? Because they did it with Stu the whole movie.
Right.
I think it would have been, we didn't even want this to happen, but honestly, it would have been better if they sprinkled multiple people throughout.
Yes.
It was too much. It was too much. And it was just like, what is this supposed to be doing to her? Because she had some funny lines where, like, you know, Mrs. Loomis said, hey, like, what you did to my son and you're a failure of a mother or something like that. And Sidney was like, yeah, and I'd do it again.
Right.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was cool.
But yeah, it was very awkward for me. And
yeah,
I don't think it's going to age well.
It had
already bad for me.
Yeah, agreed.
If they had just, maybe like a different person each FaceTime, it would have been cool. Like, it would have been kind of like in 6, you know how they like counted down backwards with the masks? They could have had a different person on every FaceTime call. It's just, having them all together at once with this like CGI, like generated image video of the house, like scrolling through the rooms like that. It was weird. It was a lot all at once. They could have done it like a little more tastefully. It felt like a weird, awkward monologue. I wish it was like a different person on each call.
Yeah. It just feels weird stylistically too, because you know the film did a good job of introducing this town to us. It felt like a small town, homey. You got a coffee shop and you know your local bar and all these cool things, and then you have a scene like that where it just clashes, man. So yeah, I don't think it worked well at all. And honestly, I don't know, to me, if they had brought Roman back in a flashback, you know, even if it was a flashback of something that we already knew, like just a conversation he had with Stu, or if it was a nightmare she had or something, I don't know. I think those would have been much better than what they did with Scott Foley in this film. Like, he didn't need to be in it. Laurie Metcalf didn't need to be in it. And obviously Matthew didn't need to be in this at all either. Although, you know, seeing him through the film, it was fun. You know, if that's the only way we're ever going to see him again, I mean, it was fun. You know, I'm a big fan of Matthew, but the whole AI angle, it didn't work for me. It just didn't. So, yeah. Gritter, thank you so much for the super chat, man. We appreciate it. We got John coming in again. Do you think we will get Scream 8? And if so, how do you think the critics' response will affect the creative team and future cast? We're going to get 8. You know, there's no doubt about that. We're going to get 8.
Oh yeah, 7's making so much money. They're not going to stop.
Yeah, I mean, they're tracking for over 55 million, I thought I heard, for over the weekend, from what I understand, which will be more than 6. I think 6 made 45 million or something like that opening weekend. So we're going to get 8. Again, it's so funny, and I just mean this myself as a horror fan since I was a little kid. I mean, decades and decades worth. When you have a legacy franchise like this, or Halloween, or Elm Street, or Friday the 13th, we're talking decades, you know. And Scream is the youngest of the 4 at only 30 years, but 30 years is a long time. These films will continue to be made, you know, in one way or the other, even if they take a break. You know, they might take a break maybe after 8 or 9 if this is a 3 movie arc, but we'll definitely get it. I don't know what the critics' response will really do. I think the cast, you know, with Isabel and Nev and Courtney and maybe the twins, you know, I think that's not really going to change much. Do you guys think it'll change anything? You know, the divisiveness of the reviews so far for this film and the response?
I think it depends on which ones they're looking at, because I think some people are being way too harsh. And I don't want that to completely like derail their plans, because if they do have a plan already, I really hope they don't reactively just scratch it out and change it.
Don't pull a Last Jedi.
Yeah, we've seen that before. Yeah.
or Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, don't
Written by Reddit. Yeah.
don't
Don't
course
do
correct.
that. Mhm.
Stick to your guns, like you say, Sarah. Follow your heart.
But that being said, I hope they do, take some criticism to heart and maybe, take that as ways to improve. That's
Yeah,
always good.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Um, we also got ATFB in the house. What's going on? Good to see you. We got Danielle in the house. All you guys that are jumping in, we appreciate y'all being with us. Justin as well. Good to see you. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps us out. Jen's in the house. Hey, Jen, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Jen, you'll have to let us know what you think as well. Let's jump. We've got a couple more super chats to jump to, so let's get here. Motionless Zombie. I love that. That's a great name. Good to have you. Hope you're doing well and enjoying the conversation tonight. Saying burning Stu's house down served no purpose. Exactly. Like, okay. And I'm trying to not jump off the cliff with a bunch of rants here because I'm gonna save that for other videos and Monday with the collective.
Oh my gosh.
But bro, what was the point of that? There was no point. For us, it was a point. The
Yep.
audience, us watching, yeah, that means something. But in the movie, it meant nothing.
Nothing, and now it's gone forever, so now we can never use it again. Whereas they've been leaning on it so heavily these past couple movies, and it's just
Do you think that was kind of a way for them to kind of say, hey, let's wipe our hands of Stu. We're gonna tease it. We're gonna give you some AI stuff just to kind of placate some of you guys, but we're calling it. Do you think that that's kind of what the thought process was?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like it to me, it felt pointless. It kind of felt like a way just to kind of get everybody's attention.
Yeah.
The only way my brain is kind of trying to make it work is mid rant when they brought up Jessica like killing her own son. She had this weird point about now she can like start fresh with no baggage. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she's trying to just like erase everything. But even that doesn't really make sense because she had no connection to Woodsboro.
Right.
So I'm like, why did they do it? Like there still would have been the two teens murdered. Like word would have gotten to Sidney and Mark regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the burning down of the house is, I don't know if they were trying to say something symbolic about, yeah, we're done with Woodsboro now. But like Julie just said, that kind of cuts off your nose to spite your face. Like we're never going to be able to go back there. So I don't know. Was it all for a cool visual and like tagline, burn it all down? Like, I don't know where you go from here.
Yeah, I'm just so curious, and we're going to be finding out stuff, over the next several weeks and months and stuff like that. Stuff will come out, and we'll all find it out one way or the other. But yeah, it just seems like, again, it was pretty much for nothing, because you could have done everything you did in this film with absolutely no connection to Stu whatsoever, or to the past. I mean, other than Jessica and the book, like, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that per se. I really don't. That could have been the only connection that you had. And to be quite honest, when you think about all of these movies and you think about the motives, revenge and wanting to be famous and wanting to go on trial and, avenging your son and all this and that, this motive alone, with no connection to Stu, no AI trickery, no Roman, no Debbie Salt, none of that. And she just says, I read your book, you empowered me, and now I'm pissed at you, or whatever. That would have worked so much better. Like, you would have fixed the whole movie, in my opinion.
And again, here's one more thing where if it had been Leslie solved, it would have been totally fine. I would have been like, okay, she had a reason, and it would have been, it would have made sense. But now you've gotten rid of a great set piece, historical landmark basically, and now we can't go back, and that's That's sad. I hate that. It felt like it was done just for the trailer, to be honest.
Yeah, and I would have
Mm.
even believed if the motive ended up being Marco being like a cult follower of this dead or undead Stu. We
Mhm.
could have made us believe that he was really obsessed, and that's why he's, bringing him back to life with AI. But that house would be a shrine to him. He wouldn't have even had a reason to burn it down. Like,
Right.
it makes no sense. The burning down of the house and Jessica's motive are the things that are just puzzling me.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And again, I'm gonna be so curious to find out, the reasoning behind it, because again, I was just like, what are we doing? I mean, all of those things, the burning of the house, using the AI, the reveal, the motive, all of that, would have worked better if they just leaned into Stu, you know. And obviously, if they didn't want to bring Stu back, well, then don't do any of that. And the film still would have been cool. The film would have been cool without the burning of the house. They could have been at any house. They could have been anywhere, and just Ghostface kills them in the beginning. No burning of the house, no AI. And the film, I think the film would have overall hit better. The AI, the burning of the house, the leaning onto the past, that weighed it down in a bad way, in my opinion. So yeah, cool stuff. Motionless Zombie, thank you so much for the super chat, and that was a great comment. We appreciate you. Super Tenor said, where did Gail go? Chad Mindy annoyed me, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, obviously this is about Sidney and Tatum in that third act. And I guess they just felt like, Gail did enough, which I do think she did more and was more, she was more important than she was in 6, and even 5, really, to me. Like
Mhm.
there was a reason for her to be in this film, but I do wish that she didn't disappear. Maybe if they could have just found a way, like even if she was, I don't know, on a phone call with Sidney or something, I don't know, but it is what it is. Kind of a minor thing.
I was more annoyed by Chad and Mindy disappearing. Once again,
Dude,
Mindy
okay.
gets a little slice and she's gone.
And she looked so cool in that little
I
bit of the
know.
fight. I was like,
Mhm.
when Chad got stabbed.
I was like, oh my gosh.
My whole
Oh my
theater just died.
Yeah, there was
And it
people
was
in
an
my theater too.
accident.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So obviously that was done on purpose. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I laughed myself, but more so because how ridiculous it was that he survived 6. And maybe that's why they did it, just to kind of have us to laugh it out. But at the same time, it's like, you guys, look, you either got to figure out what to do with these characters or just don't have them in it.
Mhm.
Just don't have them in it, So I don't know. Yeah. John is coming back in. Regardless of how different our opinions are, I appreciate your words and how dedicated you are as fans. Love your personalities. Please never change. We appreciate that, seriously. And actually, I meant to say this in the beginning. Well, maybe I mentioned it a little bit, but we really appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. Especially for all this Scream conversations we've had. Feels like there's been 100 of them. And it's been a lot of scheduling, and obviously, Sarah and Julie, you guys have been able to come onto the panel a lot. So many of our other friends as well. And it's been a good journey. It's been fun. I mean, I think if nothing else, I enjoy talking about these films, even when there's some misses, because it brings me back to the love of horror, the love of my favorite movies, whether it's in this franchise or outside of it. And also love talking about it with people and the passion and the different opinions. That's what really motivates me. That's what fuels me. And so even though there were some misfires, I still enjoyed this film enough.
Mhm.
I'll be doing a ranking, and I think it's going to be an interesting ranking of the franchise now. But I'm just glad to have been on this journey, and I'd be remiss to not say that I was thinking of Steven a lot. We went to the theater
Yeah.
and we got there early because I didn't want to miss anything. I was super ready, and Coriander and I, we did a toast to Steven, and I thought about him a lot, through the movie. The first time I saw Stu on the screen, I was just like, oh man, Steven would have loved this regardless, So
I
yeah.
thought that probably
second-
100 times.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The second the score kicked in, when like the opening like titles were playing, I was like, Steven would be eating this up.
Yeah.
And then that first time Stu's face flashed up, I immediately was just like, the look on Steven's face, like he don't know how he would have liked the end, but for that first 80% of the movie, he would have been elated.
He would have. He really would have. And I really feel that way. Because, I mean, if nothing else, we got a great Sidney story, and I think that was cool, her and her daughter, and obviously Mark. But yeah, I was thinking of Steven a lot. And, shout out to Kayla, shout out to his family. He is dearly missed. And, I'm happy I was able to talk about this because it also helped me process, missing him a little bit more. I was able to process this a little bit better. So, but this journey's been fun talking about it with all of you guys. So John, thank you so much for that super chat. We really appreciate you, man. Seriously. Let's ask this question too, because Steven would have said a big part of these films, and I agree, is the murder mystery. What did you guys think of the murder mystery aspect?
This was in my negatives list. I felt it was a little weak. And I don't know if that's because the focus was split so much between different like parties that we just didn't have enough time to like craft one. I know a lot of people are saying that the reason the murder mystery didn't work so well is because the killer wasn't part of the friend group. And I disagree with that. I don't think it would have worked if the kids were the killers in this one. Like, I don't think the Ghostface always has to be, part of that immediate in group. I think that's kind of getting tired, honestly, at this point. But I think that we did not develop Jessica or Marco enough to have them write a good mystery. So I do agree that it was weak, and it was one of my more negative opinions on the movie.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well said. Julie, how about you? I mean, when you think about the murder mystery aspect, what were your thoughts?
I pretty much agreed with Sarah before. I'm glad it wasn't one of the kids in the friend group. I think that would have been lackluster, but then again, what we got was also lackluster. And what's funny to me is that the whole time I was watching this movie for the first time, I wasn't even thinking about it in a murder mystery way, which is crazy. I was not exactly taking it at face value, but kind of. I mean, the whole thing of it was, is this real or not? And they had me a little bit. They had me right at the end, but
yeah, they had me too for a couple times.
I will say when Marco took off his mask, though, for a moment I was like, who is that? And then I was like, oh, right. Okay. I saw him once, which is fine, and that can be fine. I mean, yeah, Anna Camp was so obvious. I think she was like the Wayne Bailey of this movie, of course.
Bro, she was obvious right from the beginning. And I had already called her out. Whether she was Leslie or not, I knew that she was going to be a Ghostface killer. I mean, and the marketing, as much as the marketing failed on showing kills like McKenna's, it's like you failed by not showing a character and making it so obvious that she was a Ghostface killer. Who's doing these trailers, bro?
I know they need to stop. But and then, well, add on to the mystery part, I guess, like in terms of red herrings, the play director was
Oh my god.
such a
Yeah.
bizarre character. He was
was.
he had that really strange moment with Tatum where he was like, "Why aren't you like your mother? Your mother was talented. You're not talented." And I was like,
I
what?
know.
It was just bizarre. And then I did like that one scene where Sidney was when she exits her house and she's standing next to the ambulance and she's looking through the crowd.
Yeah.
She kind of locks eyes with the play director and he's looking weird. And then she locks eyes with Ben and he's looking a little weird.
Yeah.
I liked that, but ultimately it was like, okay, he was just a weird guy. It went nowhere.
Yeah, it went nowhere. And the thing of it is that he wasn't really involved enough to really make you, go for that anyway.
No.
So yeah, the murder mystery aspect, again, the problem was the AI,
Yeah.
because throughout the whole movie, like all of us, and I think every one of us, I don't think, well, I'm not saying everyone, but most everyone in our circle that we talked to and so forth, I don't think anyone thought 100% that Stu was coming back. People hoped, and there might be some people that were pretty high on that scale, but no one thought, yep, 100% he's back. And so the movie played with that. And there were a couple times where I was like, well, maybe they'll do it. And even Sidney, at times was feeling like, oh, well, maybe he is alive. Like when she spoke with the coroner, trying to get in touch with the coroner. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting,
So what was that, by the way?
Right? I mean,
was that true or not? Like that kind of bothered me.
It kind of got me too. Because they're like, what was it? The coroner who handled the case
there was
passed
no
away.
There was no intake report, or it was something like that of his body. Stuff like that. I was like, wow, they've got me,
Yeah,
and then
sorry, keep going.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just saying that part too, when the couple got out of the car at the beginning, they were talking about him in the background of the frat party.
Oh, yeah, that
like
was
those little Easter eggs. I was like, oh, we're fully in. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so when you do that, you're already cutting into the mystery a bit, right? And what I kept theorizing, and I'm sure you guys remember because we talked a lot about theories, the way that you overcome throwing out some of the mystery with that is to just pull the trigger and you just hit them over the head with, Super Bowl time. This is this would have been, the biggest reveal easily since 4. Just to say, they pulled it, whether you like it or not, it would have been big time because it's almost like you can't believe it's going to happen. Same with Sidney, because she's like, I thought he was dead. So I don't know, man. I just think that was such a missed opportunity to kind of fix what they were working with in this film. But
Sidney even said, she said, it's ridiculous, but that would be the better story. It's like they knew it would have been.
When she said that, I was like, you guys gotta stop fucking with us, people, man.
And that would have been a great twist because this whole movie, you see the AI and you're like, oh, probably fake, right? But then if it wasn't fake at the end, that would have been perfect.
And I'm telling
that would have been the better twist.
And that's the way I saw it the whole time.
We were so close to greatness. Like I don't really have a pony in this race if Stu is alive or if Stu is dead. But if we had just made Jessica not Jessica, we could have had the better ending. Like
Agreed.
That's frustrating.
I absolutely agree. Yep, no doubt. John, thank you so much for that super chat and also the kind words. We really appreciate that, man. Seriously. We got Jen H coming in. Thank you so much for the super chat. Some good moments. I just felt the writing fell flat. Characters were all on screen within a blink of an eye. And Sid and Tatum gave Lori Karen from Halloween 18, especially the gun scene. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some homage. Oh, let me just I can't believe I wasn't thinking this, especially with you two. Bro, Kevin, they were homaging Halloween hardcore throughout this film. I was like, come on, guys, we get it. I mean, Ghostface must have done the sit up at least 3 times. I'm like, we
did.
get it. We get it. Let's coming out of the darkness in the beginning. I was like, okay, all right.
Okay, that was really cool though.
I
It was
love
cool.
He
that.
acted like a ghost in this movie,
Yes.
and that was really cool.
I think Ghostface as a killer in this film,
Yeah.
masked, was great.
Mhm.
You know, was great. I would dare say, yeah, at least right now, I would dare say the best of these last 3 films. You know, looked
Yeah.
great, moved great.
Pre-unmasking.
Yes, pre-unmasking. This Ghostface killer.
Pre-reveal. I loved him.
Yep. The best Ghostface since 4. Or Ghostfaces, however you want to look at it. But in this film, I really enjoyed everything they did. The crawl space scene or the panic room scene, I thought was really good. I liked that, you know, another thing that Kevin did too is he teased out the tension in these attacks really well, which is what I was thinking he would do. It was very Wes-like, you know, and that was good, you know. So this film felt like a return to form in that sense, which is one of the strongest points for me, anyways. The positives, but yeah, they were definitely giving some Halloween 18 vibes here and there. That's so funny because every time we saw something, Corey had to be like, "That's Michael." I know. I'm like, I know. Look at it. You know, it's like, hey, you know, you know, give and take. Jen, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. The characters, let me just also reference what Jen was saying. Overall, with these characters, this group of characters, you know, McKenna and, you know, the boyfriend and obviously Jessica and Lucas and all of these characters. Right now, like I'll start with you, Julie, and then I'll go to Sarah. Right now, when you look at this group of characters, not including Tatum or Nev per se, but this group of characters, how do you think they stack up to, you know, the other films, especially 5 and 6?
I think Ben was I was like, he was, that felt really old and tired. Like,
Yeah.
The little Billy act was just too much. But Hannah again, but Chloe, right?
Yeah, Chloe.
I liked her. I thought she was pretty strong. Lucas was fairly strong. But Mark was the standout. My new favorite.
Who would have
character.
known?
My new
Who
favorite.
would have known?
He was amazing when he and Sidney were tag teaming Carl in the house.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't let him go. Like there were so many moments when they get out to the front yard and and Carl's running and Mark's like, no, and he tackles him multiple times. It was amazing to see them work together. Yeah, who would have thought? So I think that brings it up for me, but I don't know. 4, I think, had the stronger friend group. 5 was weak. Mm-hmm. However, I would say honestly, I think I liked 6. 6's, you know, core group of friends better than this one, I thought. And obviously they had some time in 5 to build that, but in 6 they really improved it. So
yeah. How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, we're pretty aligned. I think I liked the friend group in the first 4 movies better, but I may have preferred this group to 5 and 6. It's kind of on par. I think we just didn't get enough time with any of them for me to develop any like real strong connection to the friends. Like I thought McKenna Grace's character Hannah was going to be like a Tatum to Sidney. Like I thought that she was going to be the best friend and we were going to have more time with her. I did not think she was going out first. So I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on the friend group, but like Julie said, I loved Mark. And I was a Mark hater from day one.
Right?
I think
we all
honestly a little salty. Yeah. I think I was like a little salty over how we kind of got teased that it was going to be Kincaid. And so I kind of had my hopes up for that. And then they bring in Joel, who the characters he played were never characters that I could see marrying Sidney. So I was like, I'm not going to like this man. I've been hating since day one.
Yeah.
And I will eat my words. He was my
Yep.
favorite new addition to the cast. I loved, he and Sidney really were a team. Like they worked
Yeah.
as a team in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
I believed him as a cop. I believed him as a husband. I believed him as a father. I never once was like suspicious. Like he was perfect. And I hope that their family is in 8. Like I want to see more.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought, man? I mean, we all hated on Joel McHale. Joel McHale hated on himself. That's how bad it was. Okay, and although he survived an attack that was, bro, he was laying in a puddle of blood for 5 years with knife wounds all throughout his heart. It's like he survives. It's like, okay, that's fine. I can only forgive it because he was a really great character. I really enjoyed him. The scenes that he and Sidney had together felt real and organic, and they felt like a couple, with a teenager of that age. And so I can't believe it. I'm eating my words too, man. Shout out to Mark Evans, Joel McHale. He made it work. So Jen, thank you so much for that super chat. And look who we have in the chat. I know I'm way behind, guys. We're gonna get to you guys as soon as we can. We got a lot of people. Jack, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well. So good to see you here. It really feels, kind of like an old school live chat here tonight. Seeing a lot of you guys, including you, Jack. This is really cool. Definitely didn't expect to get my heartstrings pulled seeing Gail with nerve damage from her attack. Yeah, that kind of got me a little bit too. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that, and again, Courtney's a pro, Nev's a pro, and they played that scene with such nuance, and it was subtle, and they didn't overplay it and ham it up, and she just saw Gail's hand shake a little bit, and it was just a look that Sidney gave. And I'm not gonna lie, there was part of me that's just like, Father Time is undefeated. All these attacks and stuff. Something's got to give at some point. And it was kind of a little bit of an emotional moment because just thinking about this franchise being 30 years old, and possibly at some point, and you got to have it happen at some point. We move away from these characters. So Jack, I know what you mean. I felt the same way because I love Gail as a character. I mean, I love Courtney Cox as well. And I'm just so glad that they gave her something to do in this movie versus 6.
Yes.
They really did. That's one thing, again, I don't want to, stand in negativity a lot, but I mean, there's negativity out there. And I think for all 3 of us here, at least, we're kind of showing, both sides, but ultimately, yeah, it was a decent, Scream film. It's a very good horror film. I couldn't even count, how many slasher films that are absolute trash. This is not even in the same multiverse as any of that. Was it the best Scream sequel? No. And I didn't expect it to be, for me anyways. It didn't need to be, though. I do think it did some great things that righted the ship from 6, 5 and 6. So we'll see how it all shakes out with everyone. But Jack, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the super chat, man. We miss you, bro. We miss you. We really do. It's like I can hear him singing on the Stew Train
I was
right
just
now.
gonna
On
say,
the
I
Stew
can
Train.
Yeah.
And
Get your ticket.
again, man, I'm telling you,
Good times.
some real good times, man. Some real good times, man. Thank you for being here, Jack. Seriously, we appreciate you. We got DJ coming in as well, with a $5.71 super chat. Like the backstory, how Carl met Mr. John Doe, aka Stu's backstory on how he ended in the asylum, which left the door open. Stu's alive. Yeah, Julie, what did you think of that? I mean, ultimately, the way they were setting this up, I mean, I've always bought into the possibility of these things, but of course, according to the film, it's ridiculous. So what did you think, Julie?
That had me so excited oh my God, when Sidney pulls out the phone and she's got the screen capture of Stu, and he's like, "Oh, John Doe," and I was like, "Oh!"
Right.
I was so excited. I like sat back in my chair. I was like, "There's no way," and I was like, "They're doing it. They're doing it." And then he gave a believable story about, he was a drifter. They said he was on the streets or whatever. I forget what he said. The streets of LA. People saw him. He lost his memory. I was like, "Oh my God," that was a moment where I was like. It felt like Steven wrote that. I mean, seriously, that was taken right from his thoughts. But that, and then in retrospect, it makes me a little mad because I'm like, well, he was just up there making stuff up, I guess. I mean, Marco, the character, it was just, again, it was just for the gag.
Just
that makes
for the
me
gag.
sad.
I know. I mean, I suppose, maybe they were thinking, hey, this is going to be a meta thing we're going to do. We're going to basically talk about how people are so fixated on Stu returning and how he could return. And I just think that was a bad choice, bro. Because, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they understand how strong that part of the fan base is,
Well, and I said this to Sarah and I think Val. I was like, well, I would love to know whose decision was this? Who wrote that line about it being stupid? Because, I mean, maybe they didn't mean to hurt people's feelings. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
But to me, it came off that way. Like my smile drooped. I was like, oh, that's kind of harsh.
Right.
And it's just weird because Guy Busick is I thought he was a Stu truther, wasn't he? He loves the character. And then obviously Kevin, we know with 3 what the plan was. So it's just like, I would love to know whose idea that was.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just so crazy. So crazy. DJ, thank you so much for that. We appreciate you, man, seriously. And May, thank you so much. Much love to you and all you guys as well. Seriously, appreciate it. And you guys are right. Hashtag for Steven. And like I said, guys, when I was there in the theater, Coriander and I, we did a toast, and I was just thinking about him and speaking with some of his family. It's just like I said, guys, ultimately it was a movie. Okay, this doesn't, whether it was good or bad, it doesn't make me look at the older movies in any negative way. I still love the ones that I love and this and that, but it's the journey, and through this journey with 5 and 6 and now 7, we've had a lot of great conversations. We've had a lot of great moments and different combinations of panels. We had the People versus Stu Macher. We've had so many amazing times, and we got that because of our love for these films, and just our fandom and our passion for fun and conversation and so forth. So yeah, man, that's what means the most to me. That's what means the most to me. Hell yeah, absolutely, super tenor. No doubt about it. No doubt whatsoever. Let me ask you guys this as we start to head into the last half of this discussion. Let's go to the opening scene. Opening scenes in Scream are always a hot topic, sometimes debated and so forth. Sarah, I'll start with you. What did you think of the opening scene? Did it play out the way you wanted it to? Were there any surprises? There was a big surprise. Well, not surprise, but a big thing that happened that I talked about a lot and we all talked about. But what did you think of it, especially stacked up to other openings?
I thought it was pure fun. I really, really enjoyed it. I haven't thought about actually ranking it in relation to other openings, but definitely positive. I had so much fun with it. It's also very accurate to something that you would see happen today. There's definitely murder Airbnbs that are set up like that, right?
Right.
I thought it was cute. It had the facts all over the walls. So it was kind of like connecting the whole franchise, right? It wasn't just trying to do something from the original trilogy. It wasn't trying to be new. It really was trying to like blend the first four with like the next two, which I appreciated. It was fun. Like, yeah, everything from them getting out of the car and we could hear the podcast talking about Stu at the party to like
Yeah.
the phone call from Roger L. Jackson. Because that was one thing I was missing because we had so much
Yeah.
AI FaceTime. We didn't get a lot of Roger on the phone. So it
Good
was
point.
nice to have him at the beginning. I thought the animatronic like switch up was so cool. Like
Yeah.
I really liked it. It did feel quick, but that was kind of maybe a complaint I had with the movie in general was we were going at like a breakneck speed. Like nothing
Yeah.
was really breathing. So I could have dealt with like maybe a little more tension in the opening. Because when you think about like, well, when you think about the rest of them with the exception of maybe 4 and 6, the opening usually is full of like tension and you're kind of waiting and you're building. So it was maybe a little rushed, but like I really liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good point you made about the pacing of it, and it kind of just happened all of a sudden. Boom! You know, the opening scene is done. Julie, how about you? What do you think of the opening scene?
Remember when we thought that was going to be the ending?
Yeah,
I remember
oh,
that.
God,
you saw it?
Julie. Oh, we theorized.
We did, and
Yeah,
then
we
as
did.
soon as as soon as they drive up, I was like, "Oh no, we
I
were
know.
so wrong." That being said, yeah, I agree with Sarah. I think it was awesome. I think it will age well. Honestly, it kind of felt like a better executed version of the shrine from 6, because like it was like a cool museum where they had all these nods, and like, yeah, my second viewing, I was really trying to read the plaques on the walls.
Yeah, they showed where Liv got shot. Did you see
Yes,
that?
yep. I saw
was
Liv
like,
McKenzie.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
That was
great.
really cool.
Yeah.
I thought the 2 actors were great. Unfortunately, we saw most of it in the
I
commercials.
know.
That is again, it's I don't know who, it's not their fault. I
Right.
know marketing is separate, but
Yeah.
again, we spent all that time saying it's going to be different, right? It's going to be different, and then of course it never is. So I need to stop expecting that.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, I think it was super fun.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I was still holding out hope that maybe, and it just didn't feel that way as it was happening, but maybe the burning of the house would be lead into the cliffhanger at the end. But once I started to see things happen the way we saw it in the trailer, I was like, yeah, this is all the opening. And again, shame on the marketing. You showed us pretty much the whole opening.
Yeah.
Like you can piece together that whole opening scene based upon just the first trailer alone. I'm not even talking about the 43 TV spots, like that first trailer gave you the whole opening. Shame on the marketing. I don't understand why that is not understood to not do that. At least with 6, we didn't have all of those things spoiled. 5, we did. What every other one is that Scream 8, we won't get spoiled. Scream 9, we will. We're just gonna flip flop back and forth because it's just crazy. But the thing that we talked about, that I talked a lot about too, when first seeing that first trailer, was the animatronic being switched out with the real Ghostface. So that was cool because I was like, okay, we got one, But it was fun. It was a fun opening scene. I think it was a lot of cool Easter eggs. Like I'm watching all around and seeing all the different things, and then of course burning the house. That was so dark. Lighting her on fire like that. That was pretty.
Yeah.
That was dark.
After she said, "Oh, go ahead, Julie. We're going to say the same thing." Go ahead.
We were sorry. We were talking about this. She says earlier in the scene that she would hate to die the way Amber died.
Yep.
And then she does, and that made me feel sick. That when she's on the ground and you just hear the gasoline sloshing and you see him just out of focus. Oh,
Yeah, that was rough.
yeah.
And then of course, title card would, and they went old school with the font and everything. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun opening scene. At some point I'll rank the openings. I don't think it was the best. But it's more middle of the road for me. But it was fun. I'll say that. It was fun. And definitely I think it'll age well because you had all these Easter eggs in there, so that was cool. It really was. Real quick too in the chat, Nightfall also in with an anniversary. Thank you so much. 31 months.
Holy crap.
Channel member anniversary. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy. Thank you so much for all the support, bro. We appreciate you. Saying hello, family. Enjoyed the movie. I think Kevin had some ideas. I think it was a goodbye for Courtney. I think we lose her in 8. Ooh. Well, yeah, I mean, she's not in great shape. Who knows? Do you think we could lose Courtney in 8? Do you think that's where they're headed?
I think we can, but I don't think she's dying. I think she would want to like bow out. I don't know.
Interesting. I don't
Find
know.
some way to give Gail like a satisfying ending.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, this character is very perplexing because of the trajectory of things, the way that they really didn't have her do much in 6 and really only half of 5, killing off Dewey. It affects her so much because I think their back and forth made them better, you know what I'm saying, as characters. And now, I don't know, it's hard to say. I don't know what to expect from her in 8. I really don't. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
I mean, she lucked out in this one. If we're going with the every other movie thing, she was pretty lucky in 5, 6, not so much, and then 4, not so much. She had a little rough in that one.
Yeah, that's true. That's one way to look at it. Nightfall, thank you so much for that, man, and all the support. We appreciate you. Shantae also coming in. Who else thought it was Gail and Mindy as the killers? We never saw Mindy killed, and Gail disappeared after the interview. Jessica and Marco sucked. Was there any? We talked about the possibility of Gail. A lot of people were curious about Gail finally showing her true colors. I know Val was big on that too. All the breadcrumbs and stuff like that. Was there ever a point where you said to yourself, man, it could be Gail?
For me, no.
No. Yeah. I didn't think anything about Mindy. I think at this point, no. Especially the way they positioned the twins in this film, it just wouldn't have made any sense if it was Mindy, No, I didn't see that at all. I definitely will be thinking a lot more about, our 2 Ghostface killers and how they rank up against the other ones. It's gonna be an interesting conversation with that.
I saw people saying they're worse than what's his name, Greg, the guy in the refrigerator.
Come on, okay.
They said they're worse than Ethan, which I was like, maybe. that one's tough.
All right, well, let me just throw my 2 cents. Even with recency bias, Jessica was not worse than Ethan.
No.
And not worse than Greg, not worse than Jason. I've got to watch it again. I just think that, unfortunately for Jessica, well, for both of them, they're so tied to the AI. And the AI, to me, is a weak link of this particular film. So it's almost like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's tough, because that'd be like me saying, okay, Charlie's a good Ghostface killer, but because he was lovesick with Jill, it makes him a weaker Ghostface. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's
I think
tough.
we can. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
No. I'm done with that.
And I'm just saying, I think sometimes we need to separate to like the unmasking and the motive, and then what they've done for the rest of the movie. Because like they were putting in work. Like even Carl was like an imposing force. Like I think Ghostface itself in this movie was excellent. It just fell apart when you unmasked them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the Scooby-Doo factor here,
And poor Marco, he barely, he had one scene
Mhm.
And then he had his reveal, and Jessica wouldn't even let him speak. Anytime he tried to say something, she was like, "Shut up, I'm talking." And he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh." And then he was out of there really quickly.
Yeah, he got aced out like Liv, you know, like
Yeah.
bam. It's like, what? What is
Mhm.
going on? Why are we killing these guys so easily? I will say the fight with Jessica and Sidney was fun. You know, once again, pulling from Halloween, man, when she kind of came down, you know, really, really slow in the shadow. I'm like, you guys keep messing around with
Mhm.
Michael Myers, you know, there was some H2O stuff right there.
And when
And
they
I know,
turned around, she was gone.
yes.
When she was
I'm
laying
like,
on the ground.
okay, guys. All right, look, Ghostface is not the boogeyman, all right. But it was fun. It was a really great characterization of Ghostface as a character. Seeing that was really cool. It was really cool. Shantae, thank you so much for that. We appreciate you so much. Seriously. Hey, May's also got a member anniversary, 33 months.
Ooh.
All right.
Nice.
Love it. Thank you so much, May. Seriously, we're glad that first of all, May's been trying to stay away from spoilers from, from day one. So I'm glad that you could actually, you know, come and hang out with us now. And I understand. I definitely understand, because I think it was God, when was it? I basically just kind of turned off social media because I was like, I got to make it till Thursday. I think it was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday night or Wednesday evening. I was just like, man, I got to make it till Thursday, and I'm so
Oh
glad.
my God. I was off of social media for almost 48 hours leading up to the release.
Yeah.
And then 3 hours before I was about to go see the movie, my coworker, I thought she spoiled it for me. And
Oh,
I
that's right.
had to panic message Julie, being like, without actually answering me, can you tell me if this is an important scene? Because
Yeah.
my coworker, after I had literally, we were on a Zoom meeting about RRSPs, and I had mentioned what I was doing later on that evening. I was going to see Scream 7. I'd been excited for 2 years, and I had avoided spoilers all month. And I was
Yeah.
going to this movie later, and her 50-year-old self was like, "Oh, that's that movie with Matthew Lillard. My daughter keeps talking about how he's alive and in the asylum." And I was like, "You better stop right now."
Right?
I was
It's
like, "What did you
crazy.
just say to me?"
I
Oh
was
my
trying to talk
God.
Sarah down too. I was like, there is an asylum in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, "It's not what you think." I was like, "Is it
Oh
a
my God.
man?" And she was like, "It's not what you think." I was like,
It's
"I'm
not what
gonna
you think.
kill my coworker."
Right? I know, man. You know, it was crazy, man. Like, even when I was in the theater, it was so funny because I had streamed with Lee on Wednesday, and Jake and Jake and Tyler, they were like, okay, so we'll text each other after we see it. And we figured out the time difference. So Jake and I saw it before Tyler. And so Lee said, well, text me afterwards. Let me know what you think. So I messaged Lee, and then I messaged, you know, the collective. And then I was just catching up with everybody, because while I was watching the movie, my phone must have gone off at least 50 times. I said, people are watching this right now, and they're literally talking about it. I don't want to hear. I just want to watch the movie. So, you know, it was such a fun experience. And May, back to my original point, May said, I'm just putting my head down and just walking forward, and I can understand. And I'm glad that most people made it through without being spoiled. It was crazy out there for a while. It really was.
I had a funny little tangent experience for my second viewing, and thank goodness it was my second viewing, because if not, I would have been really mad. But
Ooh.
the theater was packed, and like every seat was taken, so I was like right next to somebody else. And it was this man, and he came in, and he like kind of tripped when he was coming in, and he like dropped some of his stuff. I was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm good, I'm good." And that was fine. I was like, "Okay." I felt bad for him, if anything. But then mid movie, it was when Mark was being attacked. Like literally, Mark is in the sheet and like, you know, getting it. And this man's phone rings at full, like 100% volume. And it's
Wow.
blaring through the theater. And he picks up the phone and he says, "Hey man, I'm in a movie. I got to call you back." And I was like, "There's no way." And
Oh my
he
God.
remains on the phone for like a good 20 seconds, and I can hear the other guy talking. He hangs up, and then he pulls the phone back out, and he starts texting the guy, I'm assuming, who just called, and his
Mm.
phone brightness is at 100%.
Oh
And it
my
was
God.
I was like, oh my,
Wow.
I was like, this man.
Were you
And
beside him?
I was right next to him. Yeah.
Oh my God,
Right next to
man.
him.
Jeez.
It was funny, but I was glad it was my second viewing.
Right,
So I was
right.
less annoyed.
Theater
Oh,
etiquette, man. Oh my gosh.
my theater viewing was probably in the top 3 theater experiences I've ever had, which I think
Oh.
my rating has gone down because when I came out of the theater, I was like on cloud 9 because I literally had so much fun. And then after I reflected, I brought it down. But dude, it was like something that I've dreamt of because I did not have great theater experiences with 5 and 6, and it just boiled down to, I guess, the target audience. Like I remember
Mm.
my showing for 6, it was like mostly like preteen girls in Wednesday Addams costumes. Like I
Mhm.
felt like nobody was there for Scream. They were all kind of there for Jenna, which I mean, good for Jenna, but
Yeah.
people were not getting the references. It was just like not fun. This time, I was like in a sea of 40-year-olds all talking about when they saw like the originals
Oh,
in theaters. People were dressed up in like cosplay and in merch. Everybody was like laughing and clapping and screaming and like
Mhm.
gasping. Like when Tatum put the gun down, everyone was like, "No, you pick that back up!" Like it was,
Right.
we were like fully like engrossed and engaged, and I was just like, "This is like the Scream community that like I love so much."
Yeah. No, it was some fun moments like that. And my theater was reacting to some of those things. And so that was fun. I mean, it heightened the experience, you know. So that was, yeah, it was some great stuff, man. No doubt about it. Let's see who else we got going. And of course, May had also said marathon 1 to 7 when I don't know what to think about that. I would like to do a watch along of this one though. Just to have that experience with everyone else. That would be
Mhm.
fun. We got Jack coming back in. Thank you so much, Jack. Saying
Yay.
also it was so good hearing Marco Beltrami's musical magic back. So true. You know, and I was saying that earlier, you know, it helped it feel like a Scream film. And I think the music, it fit the movie and it kind of had the old school feel with a little bit of a modern edge. It was great. It was great. I'm so glad that they were able to do that. It really worked for me. And we got Jen coming in. Thank you for coming in, Jen. We appreciate you. Why did they burn Stu's house down? It was never explained. Also, with Sidney saying she should have gone to New York, they never mentioned the Carpenter sisters at all. Yeah, you know, I was a little. They're pinned in the corner, right? Okay. They've referenced 6 enough, you know, about New York and you know, all of that. But I do think they should have at least by name mentioned Sam and Tara, especially Chad. Like I was just wondering how they were going to do that even before I saw the film. And seeing the choice that they made, it was kind of like, you know, I don't know. How did you guys feel about that? Because that really did stand out for me.
Yeah,
This
I
oh, you go, Sarah.
okay. Yeah, I wasn't like I didn't miss it in the moment because they were
Mhm.
referencing 6 so much.
Right.
But in the same way in 6 where Gail said, you know, Sidney sends her love, but she's not
Right.
coming, we
Hmm.
could have had a like, yeah, Sam and Tara moved away and like they're doing their own thing, like something to
Hmm.
kind of wrap them up or give us like peace of mind as to where their story kind of landed.
Yeah.
That's all, just a little something.
Hmm.
Yeah, it felt a bit almost passive aggressive. I don't know. Like I don't know if it was, but it felt a little yeah, we needed something. Like Chad just the only time they were well, and again, they brought up New York like 5 times, which was
Hmm.
a little too much, but Mindy even says something like it's like a snarky comment when she was in the bar with everybody and she was like, or it could be Stu because, you know, Billy had a daughter and all that. So like they mention them, but it's like not, they needed to do something.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it was, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, because here's the thing. Here, the movies are canon, obviously, you know, because the twins are here and so forth. But yeah, I just think it would have been nice to get a mention, you know, like an actual mention. But they made that creative choice, so you know, it is what it is. But good point, Jen. That really stood out to me as well. And I do think they should have mentioned Sam and Tara by name. It just, even if it was a quick thing, like you guys were saying, just to say, you know, hey, they moved wherever and whatever, you know. I think almost anything would have been a better choice than what they did by not mentioning them, you know, at all. Yeah. Kelly also coming in. Hey, Kelly, thank you so much. Saying, do we think Sid saying there's no record of Stu being in Woodsboro morgue an Easter egg, or was it stolen by the Ghostface who burned the house down? I don't know. I really don't know. You know, I'd like to think that, you know, it's an Easter egg and there's that slim glimmer of hope. But based upon what they did in this film, man, it's tough. It's tough. What do you think, Julie?
It is tough. I was going to say kind of the same thing. They left the door open a little bit smartly, but they also slammed it in our faces when they said, you know, it's such a stupid idea.
That's why it would have been so cool if he was revealed and just, you know, went all ham. You know, that would have been so cool.
Did they get you guys right at the end when Marco was like, come on out, Stu? And I was like freaking out.
Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. This is a bad thing. I pulled out my phone because I just, you know, again, and I'm gonna be fair, and I'm very transparent about all this stuff, as you guys know. But like, it meant a lot to me as a fan, and also because of all of our conversations. And like I said, man, I was constantly thinking of Steven as we started to head into this final act, and I wanted so much, you know, to be able to, like, right now be like throwing it out there and just, you know, praising my bro. Yeah, I mean, there was a part of me that was like, you know, maybe, and that's why it was so stupid that it wasn't. It was so stupid that it wasn't. They just shouldn't have even have used him. And if they did, okay, let's live in a world where yes, they're gonna use him. Again, sprinkle it here and there with Scott and Laurie and Dewey and okay, yeah, have a little fun with that and just call it good. Don't sit there and lean into it so hard, you know, because most people didn't believe that it was gonna happen anyways. You know, so it's almost like, yeah, we knew it wasn't gonna happen anyways. You know, so the whole mystery angle was like undercut hardcore because of that. So
I will say, I guess I'll give them props. Both killers were really short.
Well,
and I said, there's no way that's 6 foot. What is he? 6'4", 6'5" Matthew under there. So yeah. So when he said, come on out, Stu, and it was a short Ghostface, I was like, yeah. But they had me for a moment.
Yeah, they had me for a moment too. Crazy stuff. Kelly, thank you so much for that. We appreciate all the support. Seriously. We got Lisa coming in. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I would have respected Jessica more if her motive was that she was a crazy HOA member and wanted Sidney Prescott out of the neighborhood. We did theorize that, didn't we? Didn't we theorize that she was just a psychotic neighbor who didn't want Sidney in her town because of all the baggage that she brings and so forth? That was actually a theory that you know, was discussed here. And I mean, maybe that would have been better. Maybe.
Well, it does tie into, I think when we were talking about it, weren't we saying it in like a vigilante sense? Like, you move in here and people are going to start dying, and that's exactly what happens. Because of her. But you know, in an alternate reality. Yeah, that could have been really cool.
It could have been. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Lisa. And hey, we got Davey in the house with a channel member anniversary. We got the 3 months. Thank you so much, bro. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the support and being here. We appreciate that. Saying the latest projection I've seen is that it's expected to make between 59 to 66 million this weekend. Expect 8 to be officially greenlit very soon. Now, according to what I've found out or read, 8 is greenlit. But obviously things always, can change. But yeah, I think 8's going to happen. There's no doubt. There's just been so much hype around this film, and even though there's some divisive feelings and so forth, this franchise isn't going to stop. This isn't Halloween Ends. And even Halloween Ends wouldn't stop Halloween, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, this isn't going to stop. But thank you for that, Davey. Seriously. Melissa also with the channel member anniversary. Thank you so much, Melissa. Good to see you. 16 months. I'm going to see it tomorrow or Monday. Can't wait. Spoilers don't bother me. Oh, there you go. Some people don't care about spoilers.
Yeah.
It's all good. I was ducking, bro. I was ducking hardcore. It was crazy. Jen saying, I laughed out loud when Chad said, I don't feel like getting stabbed again. Right? Yeah, that was funny. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they played it off. They had fun with it. So I can't be mad at it. I do wish that they had a little bit more to do, but yeah, I don't know. It's a tough call. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the movie needed another 10 minutes to space some things out a little bit more for characters. I don't know. It's hard to say. But I do think that the friend group in general, we just didn't have a lot of time to get invested in them, but in a way I'm okay with that because Sidney and Tatum's story was so strong, and that's what the story was about. So give and take. We got James in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Scream 7 movie of the year.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was. What did you think of it, James? I mean, were there any good things in it to you? Let me know. I do think Ghostface was good in this film, though. The kills were great. And the intensity. I loved that, and I'm glad we at least. I think Kevin, and we talked about this too. Kevin enjoyed 6. And maybe that was the aspect, because we were talking about that on the collective too. Maybe it wasn't that he enjoyed the whole film, but maybe he liked aspects of it, and maybe he liked that kind of fast-paced Ghostface type of attacking style. And he definitely showed it in this film. And I thought that was a great aspect of it. Jen coming in again. I do feel that the kills has Wes's fingerprint on them. Sarah, what do you think? I mean, was this in the vein of Wes, especially with the kills, like Jen was saying?
I think so. They definitely were a little gorier than previous Scream. But I mean, Wes has done so much more than Scream. So they're kind of closer to the kills in Scream 4. So that made sense. And I mean, when you think of like the Nightmare movies, they're super creative and bloody. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see Kevin having a lot of input, and he was so close to Wes, so must have rubbed off.
Yeah, I would hope so too. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple different. We got the knife through the head in the opening.
Yeah.
Just like the officer in 4, I can't remember his name right now. Some playful things like McKenna Grace on the swinging harness was like, Ghostface was sitting there like being a little silly about it, although it's not funny what happened, but
right.
That felt very Wes. Ghostface shaking their head, when in the house when Carl has Tatum and they're like, let her go, and he's like,
yeah,
that felt a little old school. So yeah,
it did.
I would think
so. I think so. Yeah, I agree with that. James coming back in. I still say just watch Clue. You guys would have had a better time. True. Also, a well done whodunit. Yeah, well, Clue's a classic, man. There's no doubt about that. I love Clue. Clue's one of my favorite films. I love Clue. Tim Curry was amazing in it. But I will say, the mystery in this, like I said, they basically gambled on the AI for the mystery in this film, and I just think it was a poor gamble because you can't really pull it off if you're not bringing them back.
Nope.
You can't pull it off. So DJ coming in, did anyone see Ghostface snippet at the end? You mean the usual Ghostface slash?
The like flash at the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely. Did you guys see Chad and Mindy at the end?
Yeah, that was cute.
Well, somebody had told me there's a credit scene, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, is this it? I guess this is it. Because I stayed till the lights came on and they were trying to get people out.
Yeah,
it was cute. Yeah,
it was cute. I mean, like I said, and it felt like they knew we got to do something else with these two guys. Man, they're so talented and such a big part of what became of the franchise with 6. It's like we got to give them something else here. So that was cool. Yeah. Jen saying my favorite kill was the beer tap. Yeah, absolutely. There was no doubt about that. Although Ghostface is pretty strong, lifting someone up by the head. This was like Michael level of strength.
I felt like that was Jessica, right? Doing that to her own son. And I was like, there's no way. But then again, how many times have we said there's no way?
Yeah.
And it is exactly as it looks.
Exactly as it looks, man. There it is. Reality setting in.
Mm-hmm.
James coming in. No disrespect. The Panic Room made no sense. Also, the development was awful, overacting like crazy. Not a good script. Yeah, I mean, I think that. Well, the Panic Room, I liked that. That was a really good scene. And I know some people were saying, well, why did they try to leave through the crawl space? I mean, I didn't really have an issue with that because I just wanted to see some more, action with Ghostface. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I think a panic room makes sense. If you've been hunted off and on for 30 years and you have the money, I'm building a panic room in my house.
Yeah.
But I think the reason they left was because Sidney was going for Mark and Tatum just wouldn't stay on her own.
Right,
so
right.
I think they just kind of had to do it.
Yeah, yeah. But it made for a really, really fun scene. I did enjoy that. That was pretty cool. Shantae coming in again, saying, Craven got me started on Scream streams and introduced me to watching Unite. He will always be in my heart and forever missed. Rest in peace, Craven. Absolutely. And thank you so much for that, Shantae. And I know when we've talked on Instagram about all of that, and there's no doubt. I like I said earlier, I thought about him a lot watching this film, and even when it was over, and Coriander and I, we had a conversation, So I really wish that he was able to see this film. I really do. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate it, and glad that that you're able to still be a part of this community, and all of us that are here. Missing Steven as well. Yeah. We got John coming back in. Thank you, John. I do wonder how different 8 will be if Williamson fully writes the script next time and Guy Busick doesn't return. Do you feel the direction will fully shift to Tatum now that 7 was Sidney's story? If it's anything like Halloween, it will, which makes sense. I think at the end of the film, Tatum is obviously learning, how to deal with these things and how to hopefully overcome them. It would make sense. What do you guys think? I think it definitely could make sense for it to really focus a lot more on Tatum.
Yeah, I just still have that. Well, we talked about it before, but it's not believable that that Sidney would just, sit out or be in some situation where she couldn't be there. And she's got a really cool dad too that would be there for her. So,
yep.
Yeah, but I do hope Kevin fully writes this time. I hope he doesn't get scared off by what happened here.
Right.
I don't think he would. It's his series, but
Yeah, he's not a newcomer to any of this, so I think he'll be all right. Sarah, do you think it'll switch over to Tatum a bit more in 8?
Yeah, I kind of pretty much agree with what Julie said. It's like part of me wants to see them all back because they work great as a family and as a trio, and I liked the stories they were telling. But it's also like, yeah, now we have to re-traumatize their whole family again.
Yeah, that's true. I know, and it's kind of like, how many times are we going to go back to the well? Whereas, and I don't know. I mean, maybe 8 will pick up very shortly after the events of this film. To me, that would make the most sense. I don't think it should be, 5 years later or 3 years later or whatever. Because if that's the case, then it's obviously, another situation they're going to find themselves in. I don't know. It's tough, man. I mean, I think all franchises, when you get to this point, it's tough because you have to try to keep reinventing things and staying fresh, but still honoring the past. And for this franchise, it's even tougher because it doesn't have multiple timelines, like a Friday the 13th or a Halloween, or even an Elm Street. So not that Elm Street has multiple timelines, but they've, veered off the path. And you can do that because Freddy's supernatural too. So it's tough. It's truly tough.
and it could have been solved if they had just left it unresolved at the end, like
Right.
we wanted. We could have just gone right into it, and we wouldn't have had to do this thing of resetting up and having a new thing happen to them. You just continue.
Yeah, when Tatum freed herself because of Mark, if Jessica had ran off, it may be, I'm not saying I would have loved that, but at least you're not in a corner. You could kind of go in a lot of different ways. She could still be caught, apprehended, and killed in the beginning of 8 or whatever. But I just think that it's just, I'm really curious what they're going to do. I'm really curious.
Wow, if she had run off before giving her motive, I think the majority of people who are not liking this would have a completely different opinion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely, because now you got the questions, you've got the possibilities, and the AI doesn't haunt the finale like it does now. It haunts the finale for me.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy stuff. John, thank you so much for that. James coming back in. The AI was the stupidest thing ever. Why don't you program the AI Ghostface to kill everybody and it's over? Yeah, I mean, again, I think that they gambled on it, and maybe they were just thinking this is a way that we can, again, fan service, Stu and stuff like that, and have our cake and eat it too. I don't know. But I agree. I don't think it hit well. I don't think it's going to age well either.
Nope.
I really don't. Thank you so much for that, James. We appreciate you. Just a couple more super chats here. Jazzy Jeff in Scream 7, Gail shows wrist tremors, takes pain meds for stabbing in Scream 6, but Chad showed absolutely no effects from getting butchered. That's because Chad is the Terminator. Come on, guys, you know this. He's absolutely indestructible. No, but you're right. It's crazy. As many times as he's been stabbed, I'm telling you, it's so ridiculous.
That's the thing. Like, if he was stabbed, I would say under 4 times, we could chalk it up to him being young and fit.
Right.
But this man should have permanent damage.
Yeah, I mean, even Dewey had damage. We saw what happened to Tara after the attack in 5. She was hospital ridden. She was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So at least they kind of stayed within the realm of reality with those characters. But Chad, he's just walking around. Jeez, I'm telling you.
Carrying 80-pound cameras.
Yeah, nothing. It's crazy. Good point, man. John coming in. Scream 8 idea. Tatum goes to college, but the fraternity she joins makes friends. To make friends is a secret cult of Ghostfaces. Would be such a cool way to open that with that idea. It would. It would. I mean, giving a little bit of parallels to what they were going to do in 3, and 4 and 5 in a way, originally with Wes. I wouldn't mind it. But I don't know. I've got to let this absorb a bit more, and then I can think more about 8. Because again, the way they ended this one, it's almost like they were slamming doors left and right, And I'm just like, you guys had it. You guys had it, and you blew it.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Thank you for that, John. We appreciate you. Jen coming in. The beer tap kill was genius. I loved it. I think everyone pretty much agrees with that. It was great. It really was. I enjoyed that. The bar scene was good. It was really cool. The lights go off. Ghostface is stalking everybody. You have a couple moments where you're trying to figure out what's going on when Lucas goes in, and I'm like, this is gonna be a fake out. He's like, I'll take care of it. This is a fake out. And he comes out with it looked like it was just blood on his shirt. And I'm like, this is Billy. What are we doing? And then boom, it's like, wow, Yeah. Gritter coming in. I was driving safely while listening, but now that I can type again, I'll give the movie 1 extra point. 3. Now 3.
Thanks, Gritter. Love that for us.
There we go. We got the point. Jen coming in. Scream 8 cannot be in production yet because I emailed the casting director. Have not heard back yet. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I thought I heard that it was going to be going into production in April. I could be wrong about that, but I know at one point it was said that it was greenlit and was going to be in production in the spring. So, but let us know if you hear anything, Jen. It'll be right from the source. Good luck with the casting too, though. Can you imagine? That'd be so cool. We know her.
So cool.
Right.
Right. That's right. James coming in. I forgot to add with AI, you should add crypto to it. Crypto is one Ghostface and the AI is the other. There you go. The AI was a bad choice. I understand why they did it. Like, it is a relevant thing. It definitely is. But man, they just, like I said, it was tough.
Yeah, a little heavy-handed at the end with that video. If they had just sprinkled it in, I think it could have been better.
Right. I think that would have been fine. But at the end, man, we're just basically going through a montage of the killers. And there's look, we know they're not alive. And so does Sidney. So what's the real point? What's the real point?
I don't know. I don't know how they sat back and watched that during editing and thought, yeah, we're keeping this.
I know. Yeah, this looks great. So anyways, ladies, any final things you want to say? Julie, any final thoughts? Obviously, we're going to be talking about this again, and we're going to get into more specifics and rankings and all of that. But anything that you want to close out with?
Yeah, I feel like we went a little harsh on it. And I hope it didn't come off as completely negative because both times I watched it, I had so much fun. I was let down, of course, but like while I was watching, I thought it was great. So just want to get that out there.
Yeah, well said. Well said. How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, of course, there were some big issues in this, but overall, I had a good time. I think we're going in a good direction, and I'm excited for 8.
All right. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I said in my spoiler-free, there were some great things in this film, and some things that I think were definitely upgrades from 6 for sure. I mean, if nothing else, people died. And I said that from the get-go. I want to see some bodies hit the floor and stay on the floor. And they definitely did that in spades. This film had an intensity, but it wasn't like Terrifier type of stuff going on. It was like intensity in the kills. Reminds me of, Olivia in 4. That was such a great kill that had some intensity that really stood out in 4. And it had that type of vibe all throughout. So I did enjoy that aspect. So yeah, it was some missteps of sorts, I think, that would have elevated what they were trying to do. But overall, yeah, I mean, it was fun. I knew it wasn't gonna do all of the things that we talked about, or maybe none of the things, but I think it did some good stuff, and it was a kind of a return to form with a focus on the characters, especially this mother and this daughter, and amazingly the father as well. That was crazy. I did not expect to even care about Mark,
I
but I thought
know.
he was good. So there it is, in a nutshell. There it is. Before we head on out, we got Oliver jumped in right at the end. Good evening. I hope all is well. I hated the movie. Highly disappointed. Stupid reveals, stupid motives. Yeah, the reveals. I don't know if you just came in, man. We talked about the reveal, and the motive, and also ideas how it could have been fixed, and thoughts about how it lands to us. So definitely check us out from the beginning. But glad you made it. We appreciate you. Ladies, this was a lot of fun. This is almost like therapy getting this out, because we were dodging and ducking online, and we all saw it kind of at different times, and now we just were able to talk about it. So I can't wait until the next time we can get together and talk even more specific stuff as it kind of absorbs, over the next couple of days. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. For you guys in the chat, make sure if you can leave us a comment in the comment section. Let's talk some more about this. We couldn't get to everyone as much as we would love to, but we saw you guys, a lot of great conversations and points. Make sure you give the video a like. It helps us out so very much. If you're not following us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please follow the Scream at Night podcast. We would really appreciate the support. And it would help us out a lot. Give us a rating and a review. That'd be great. And we will catch you guys next time. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.